was propelled to write A Lifetime Burning because I had, it seemed like every time I picked up the New York Times, there was some sort of a story about a fake memoir. One in particular caught my eye, a book called Truth and Consequences, I think, by Margaret Seltzer. She had sort of said she had been a gang member in East LA, and it was revealed that she was actually from a pretty privileged background. And I think the thing that sort of was curious to me about that was her sister had turned her in. I was just intrigued. It was sort of that, I was like, oh, what would that scene be? You know, what would that thing be? You know, I'm interested in sort of our kind of obsession with true stories and reality and the death of the imagination, and why it's not, you know, why it's not held up as much anymore. It just seems we're in a time where reality, or so-called reality, is more prominent in our culture. I think the challenge in writing it for me was to find ways to make the main character in the story, Emma, somehow empathic, like to figure out why someone would do this. And I think for me also, I was interested in exploring characters that weren't seemingly initially sympathetic. And I sort of wanted to just, I think I was into exploring darker parts of myself. I believe in new play development. I feel like plays don't just happen all the time. I've had plays that have had, you know, numerous readings and numerous workshops and numerous developmental, I don't know what's. I think as a writer, you get kind of tired of the play. You know it so well, you're a little bit bored, and maybe you want to change things that don't need to be changed. And then some plays are just hard to finish, and you need people. You know, I have some of those that I feel like I kind of need more development and people in a room working on it. I've been doing some screenwriting work, and that's been interesting. And then Jen has optioned a play of mine, Dusty and the Big Bad World. We're sort of figuring out who's going to write it and if we're going to collaborate on it. But her and John Hamm have a company together, and they're doing that. And you know, I might be writing a memoir. I have a big chunk of it. I've been working on something about kind of sort of like anecdotes about like my mom and me in the 70s in New York. I like the form you can show and tell, and it's loose, and so we'll see what happens. My agent keeps on pushing me to do it, but it's slow. I love working on plays, and I like working in other forms in television and in film. I love teaching. I'd love to have that as a more regular part of my life. And you know, I'd like to feel that when I write a play, I'll know it'll be done somewhere, if that's possible. It seems like that's possible.